Hi guys, welcome back to Study Saturday. This week we will go back to pronunciation and we will focus on how to pronounce ED endings. So I hope you enjoy and remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Enjoy!
What you see here is a table with 3 columns. They all have a different pronunciation for words that end with an ED. Either you have a T sound, T, an ID sound, ID, or a D sound, D. In the first column, you already see filled in the words that end with P, K, S, CH, or SH, end with a T pronunciation. This is often referred to as unvoiced. The infinitive or base verb that ends with one of these letters will be pronounced with a T sound. Now, often, verbs that end in F and TH will also be included in this list. I will explain at the end why I did not include them in my list. So, the first word there, the first example, wrap, W-R-A-P. You double the P and add ED and you have the past tense, wrapped. The pronunciation of the ED ending here is a T at the end, wrapped. That's because the infinitive, the word there all the way on the left, ends in a P. Now an example for a K word, look, becomes looked. Miss becomes missed. Watch becomes watched. Often, non-native speakers will say watched, but that's incorrect because we see that the infinitive form of the verb ends in CH, watched. The same goes for the SH sound, washed. Now, the reason I did not include infinitives that end in F or TH is because I think that's debatable. In my dialect from the New England region of the United States, aka Yankee region, I wouldn't say that we pronounce it fully as a T. If we take the word surf, I would say surfed, which is somewhere in between the D and the T. You could argue that that's more of a T, or you could argue that's more of a D. So you can choose whether you put that in the T or the D column. There's a much smaller difference between the T and the D pronunciation than the ID pronunciation and the other two. Then if you look at the word birth, birthed, I would say the D pronunciation quite clearly, but some may say birthed. So that's a small difference, but I wanted to include it in there so you were aware. The next column is the id ending. These are for infinitives that end in D and T. For example, the first word, need, ends in a D, so the past tense becomes needed. Load is also ending in a D and becomes loaded. Visit ends in a T and it becomes visited. Now, I decided, because English is so difficult and there is always an exception to the rule, to give you an example of a word that does not end in a D or a T, but ends in an E, the word skate. That ends in an E, not a D and not a T, also not in any of the letters from the first column. So shouldn't it be in the third column, all other sounds? Well, no, because the E in the word skate is silent. So then the T is the important part. It's the last pronounced letter, so it becomes skated. The last column, the D sound, is for all other letters or sounds. For example, the Y in play becomes played. Return ends in an N, it becomes returned. Look ends with a K and it becomes looked. I hope that you guys found this useful. Remember that the T and the D do not have that large of a difference. However, if you pronounce the id ending on a word that should be pronounced with a T or a D ending, you will obviously show that you are a non-native speaker, and you want to try to avoid that if you can. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy Saturday.